and welcome to the Homemade Podcast Sports. This is your host, Jay Pops.
And welcome back to the Homemade Podcast Sports with your host, Jay Pops. Guys, today's date is July 26, 2021. We have a jam-packed episode. We're going to get a lot in here. We're going to try to do a lot, things like that. I thank you guys for tuning in just like you guys always do. So, of course, let me go ahead and get on down to it. Because this has lit up the airwaves, all over the college football country. So it has been done. Texas and OU has officially parted ways. They've went on ahead and let the Big 12 commissioner know, things like that. But they will continue to go throughout the whole 2025. They will continue to go out through the whole deal or whatnot and stuff like that, or supposedly. So with that being said, I'm gonna tell you guys like this, and this to all my Aggie fans, this to the SEC country period. Look at the Big 12 this year. If you did not look at the Big 12 games this year, I advise you to tune in on them this year, because I know for sure that Texas and OU has by far the biggest targets on their back in the Big 12 conference this year. It's going to be a lot of fighting. It's going to be a lot of arguing. It's going to be a lot of horns down gestures. Man, it's going to be something. It wouldn't amaze me if OU nor Texas was, Texas, I have to unconsider them. But it wouldn't amaze me if OU maybe kind of had to slip up either one or two games, man, because of the simple fact of that they have that big target on their backs. When I tell you that it's going to be some headshots in the Big 12 pointed towards Texas and OU, man, it's going to be one of those seasons to remember. But this is going to happen all the way up to 2025. It's going to be a lot of teams that's going to play them hard, and this is by far going to be the hardest conference slate that the Big 12 has seen in a long time, man, because they have a lot of people over there upset. But anywho, going off of that factor, this here is to my Aggie Nation out there. Excuse me. So we have something called battered Aggie syndrome. This is really to most of the older generational Aggies, not to tee anybody off or anything like that, but it's true, So if I offended anybody by saying that, then hey, I apologize. But this is mostly like to the older generation Aggies with the battered Aggie syndrome. Me myself being a new generation Aggie, I just want to tell you guys this here. It ain't no such thing anymore. I also want to tell you guys this here. The Big 12 was almost 10 years ago. A&M is not a Big 12 anymore. This is the SEC. This is the SEC program, and we're going to act like an SEC program. So this is one of the reasons why they went out and got Jimbo Fisher. Now, all due respect to other previous coaches that were here before, which is Kevin Sumlin, the first one brought in with the SEC. Thing about Kevin Sumlin, I cannot say this enough, is that Kevin Sumlin wanted to be great only on one side of the ball, and absolutely forgot about the other side, which is the defense. So the hiring of Jimbo Fisher has reshaped everything. Jimbo Fisher not only wants to be great offensively, but he wants to be great overall. He wants his team to be great overall, not just on one side of the ball. He wants both sides to complement each other. If that makes sense to you all, okay? So once again, this is out to the Aggie Nation out there. This is a new day and time. If Texas and OU comes to the SEC, why not give them a warm welcome? You guys know what I mean by that. So, hey, it is what it is. We will continue to move along because, like I say, this is the SEC team. When they come here, Texas A&M is not playing a Big 12 team anymore. This isn't Big 12. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. A lot of people like to think that. A lot of people like to post the memes and stuff like that. So, also, man, just let those guys do what they do. They're going to continue to post on Twitter, Facebook, stuff like that. But in the meantime, it's other fan bases all around the world that's poking at them at the same time. So you guys have to let that be. All right. Anywho, guys, so let's get off of that. So on this latest edition of the Homemade Podcast Sports, this is what I want to talk about, man. We have to talk about this 2021 season coming up. We have to get back to it. Media days just left out the building. Of course, with those SEC predictions, they have Alabama at number 1 and A&M at number 2. So let's talk about this. A&M, why A&M is projected to be number 2, or a toss-up with Alabama for number 1. So let's go ahead and hit on the situation. So I want to break down a couple of things, man. First and foremost, let's break down this roster into the simple fact of why people are so high on A&M. First of all, we ended the season at number 4. So coming into the season this year, it wouldn't surprise me if we may be top 6 overall, in which they may have us ranked at either 6 or 7 coming into the season. That's just coming in, which will be one of our highest rankings in a very long time to start the season with. So just be looking for that. But that team in general, man, these were the offensive stats. And we're just talking about the offensive side of the ball, in which everybody wants to see move already, and they want to see a high-powered offense. So this was the offensive stats, and this is just the SEC offensive stats here. This is just SEC ranking. So the total offensive stats for 2020, Ole Miss was number 1. And they only played 9 games. Alabama was number 2. Florida was number 3. And Texas A&M was number 4. Crazy, right? After all of that, they need more explosive plays, stuff like that. A&M still ranked at number 4 in the SEC. This is the SEC rankings overall. They had the 4th best offense. Crazy to say that. But yes, they had the 4th best offense. Now, the problem was that when we went up against the Crimson Tide over there, it looked like we had offense for a little bit, but then again, after that, it looked like we didn't have any offense, So, but overall, we had the 4th best offense in the SEC. That says a lot, because although we didn't have that many explosive plays, Jimbo Fisher was still able to muster this team into a 9-1 team. That says a lot about coaching overall, man. And that says a lot about where A&M is now and going forward. So I just want you guys to really, really think about that. But let me talk about the yards here. So total yards passing, it was 3,935 yards passing overall, 437.2 yards per game. Well, no, I'm sorry. So let me make sure I'm looking at this right. So yards overall. Let me rephrase that. Yards overall, 3,935 to end the season with. That's how many yards we had overall in a 9-game span. 437.2 yards a game. Passing yards, and this is what we want to talk about. Passing yards, 2,109 yards to end the season. 234.3 yards a game. It ain't much, but it's one of those balanced things here. So the rushing yards, we had about 1,826 yards to end the season. 202.9 yards a game rushing. We haven't seen that ever since we've been here in the SEC. I'm going to say that once again. We haven't seen those rushing yards ever since we've been in the SEC, man. So that says a whole lot about where this program is physically going forward. So points, we had about 285 points, all together to end the season with. And we weren't known for a team that just scored a whole lot of points, but it was basically an offense that was catered to Kellen Mond and his strengths overall. Now, could he have ran the ball a little bit more better? Yes, man, we all know that. But hey, it is what it is, and we're gonna move along because it was 9-1 at the end of the season. So that lets you know that if we can go 9-1 with Kellen Mond not being all of that good, just like we all know he could have been, because he could have been better. But if you give me a 9-1 season with Kellen Mond being back there doing the things that he did, it's only up from here. You guys have to believe me when I say that. It's only up from here. So that's why I'm predicting A&M to win the SEC West overall. And let alone the defense, but I'm just talking about yards overall. We were fourth best. We were fourth best. So a lot of people don't think that we're going to be all as good because of the offensive line. So let's go ahead and go through this offensive line then. And a new quarterback. Everybody keeps on saying, well, new quarterback and offensive line. Well, Kellen Mond wasn't all of that, and he went 9-1. So I don't understand the issue there. So I honestly believe the Haynes King is better. So, let's talk about this. So for the offensive line, man, and let me just name these folks. So for the offensive line, this is my predicted starter. These are my predicted starters. All right, and this is just me. So for the offensive line, Keon Green will be one of them, of course. He's the All-American. Shout out to Keon, and shout out to Henry Green, by the way, his dad. So Keon Green will be on the offensive line. Luke Matthews, he will be another one. He'll be starting on that offensive line. Let me go down here. I believe Blake Traynor will be one of them as well, and he's going to be a sophomore. The guy from Tennessee, Jameer Johnson, I don't know why people keep on forgetting him. He will be a transfer senior at that, so he has every bit of experience. Just not with his offensive line, but he has every bit of experience. And who's the other guy? It's either going to be these two guys right here and Blake Traynor. A lot of people don't know this guy, but Blake Traynor has been working very, very hard. He's going to be a sophomore this year. It's going to be between Blake Traynor and the guy that's coming in, Bryce Foster. And if you guys haven't saw that guy lately, man, that guy's a real monster, man. So it's either going to be out of Blake Traynor or Bryce Foster. If Bryce, don't be shocked if that freshman comes in and does his thing. All right, don't be shocked at all, man. This is a big stout dude, man. He's real good, and also I think if I can remember, he had a shot put video, maybe like last month sometime or something like that, where he slung that shot put out there, man. I think he had ended up winning that thing too. So don't be shocked if you see him come out and ragdoll a couple of guys. All right. So it's just a reminder, man, all of those guys that committed to the 2021 class, of course, all of those guys are enrolled. Okay. So everybody's out there for fall camp, and we're going to get some things started here. So just be on the lookout for that. And if I'm not mistaken, fall camp should have already started by now. I believe it should have already started. Anywho, let's keep on going here. And I'm going to get back to this roster in just a minute, because I want you guys to know some things, man. I'm going to get back to that roster. So these are the things that you have to worry about of when A&M starts, man. So first of all, like I said, I'm going to get back to that chart. So first of all, these are the returning rushers for Texas A&M. Of course, we already know which is Isaiah Spiller and Devin Achane. So in the SEC alone, Isaiah Spiller was number 3. He was the third leading rusher. He had 188 attempts, 1,036 yards, 5.5 average, and his longest run was about 57 yards. I think that came against LSU, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, Isaiah Spiller was number 3. I don't understand when they make these top 10 running back lists why Isaiah Spiller is so far down there. Kevin Harris, I understand that one. He has about 1,138 yards for South Carolina over there. But you cannot tell me that Tank Bixby belongs above Isaiah Spiller. I'm not understanding that dynamic. Once again, I don't know who makes these lists. But you can't come sit up here and tell me that Tank Bixby is better than Isaiah Spiller. That just didn't make any sense to me. But anywho, man, let's keep on going here. So Isaiah Spiller is one of the returning rushers. And if I keep going down this list right here, Devin Achane, he came in at number 22. He's the 22nd. He was the 22nd for the 2020 season, man. And this guy, and check this out. This guy only ran the ball 43 times, 364 yards, a 8.5 average. I'm going to say that once again, an 8.5 average. His longest run was 76 yards, in which I believe was in the Orange Bowl. Once again, his longest run was 76 yards. Isaiah Spiller's longest run was 57. Both of these guys returned. So you cannot sit up here and tell me that we are not going to have a 1-2 punch combo coming into the season. See, that's why a lot of these, they got question marks surrounding the quarterback and offensive line position. Not realizing that if that's going to be the question mark, then that quarterback is going to hand off this ball enormously and lean on his run game. But when he needs to show up and pass the ball, please believe me when I say Haynes King will get it done. Because I'm already projecting Haynes King to be the starter. Zach Calzada, yes, he will still be there, in my opinion. But Haynes King will be the starter. Okay? These are my analysis in my opinion. All right? So just be watching for that, man. But like I said, we have a dynamic 1-2 punch. But not only that. So you go down the list here. Anaya Smith was 29th in the SEC running the ball because he was so versatile. Guess how many attempts he had? Only 49, 293 yards, period, and a 6-yard average. I'm going to say that once again, a 6-yard average. His longest run was 38. But he had a 6-yard average. Devin Achane had an 8.5, an 8.5 average, well, 8.5 average. And then you got Isaiah Spiller with a 5.5 average. That says a lot about their running game coming back next season. We will lead the SEC in rushing. It would not shock me at all. We will lead the SEC in rushing. We're not only a 1-2 punch, but maybe a triple threat. You know, I'm going to say that once again, maybe a triple threat. But it's a lot of guys that's forgetting that L.J. Johnson will be used as well, people. And he's the freshman coming in. He will be used as well in the running game. So when I tell you that these question marks are just things that they're making up to just create a narrative around to say that A&M is good, but they're not that good. That's bogus to me. It's really, really bogus. We have a true threat in not only the running position, but also the wide receiver position, in which people like to downgrade. I understand why, because they wasn't explosive out there, but we have some playmakers in that wide receiver spot. It's just a simple fact of what I just said. We didn't necessarily have the quarterback to actually get the ball down the field as we would like to see him do. Okay, if that makes sense. So just be looking out for that, man. That running game would not only be top 10, but that running game should be top 5 for that 2021 year. Mark my words on that, okay? All right. So let's keep going here. Told you, man, we have a lot to get into, man. Jam-packed episode. Only a short amount of time to do it, but jam-packed, you know? And we don't, and just like Josh Pate, on the Late Kick podcast, we don't talk about the offseason, bro. So let me keep going here. Shout out to Josh Payton. Let me keep going here. So this is the receiving side. There's a lot of people probably waiting for me to get to this. So this is the receiving side of the equation. So this was our lack right here, and we all know that. This was what we were lacking. So wide receiver wise, I have to go all the way down the list. And Anaya Smith was number 16. And we're just talking about the SEC now, people. Anaya Smith was the 16th best wide receiver in the conference. He had 43 receptions, 564 yards with a 13-yard average. And his longest one was 54 yards. So Anaya Smith is going to be a threat on both sides of the ball. That's why he's a very, very versatile player, man, and he's an athlete at the end of the day. He's going to be very, very good, and you don't know where to actually cover Anaya Smith. And from me watching that spring game, it looks like the young man has gotten better. So that's going to be a real dynamic thing over there. Following him was Jaylen Watermeier as the 21st best wide receiver in the conference at his tight end position. He only had 46 receptions, 506 yards with an 11-yard average. That's going to be the guy that most people are actually looking for when they're going up against these wide receivers, but actually forgetting in the back of their mind about Baylor Cup. So that's why I say, man, just be patient. I know, you guys have been patient long enough, but Baylor Cup and Jaylen Watermeier will be a threat. It will be a two-way combo to come out there and actually get what we're looking for in that passing game, man. When I tell you that Haynes King will not have a problem out there, I'm going to say this once again. Haynes King will not have a problem because he will have so many people to throw to. Are they unproven? Yes. A couple of those guys out there are unproven, which is Baylor Cup, because we don't know what he actually is yet. But I haven't heard anything. Goodness gracious. I ain't heard nothing about this guy injured or nothing, man. So look, I'm ready for Baylor Cup, and I'm going to have to go get me a Baylor Cup jersey if they have any. If anybody knows where some is at, please tell me. But I'm so amped to see Baylor Cup, man. But I know him and Jaylen Watermeier together are going to wreak havoc on the SEC. You guys have to keep that in mind, man. They're going to wreak a lot of havoc out there. But just be looking out for him. So the 30th best wide receiver in the conference was Chase Lane. And check this out. This guy didn't even much have that many receptions. He had about 29 receptions with 409 yards with a 14-yard average. His longest one was 51. If we just could have compressed all of that together and we just, would have had a guy to actually get it done, man. Like I say, man, you cannot take anything away from Kellen Mond. He done the best that he could do to his ability. Man, we would have been a dime. Good God Almighty. Not saying we would have won the game against Alabama. Not saying that. But we would have, man, that would have been a back and forth thing. I honestly think that would have been a back and forth thing. That's why I'm so amped to see Bryce Young against Haynes King going forward in the future. You guys don't know how real this is going to be. Bryce Young against Haynes King, and Haynes King against either Max Johnson or what's his name over there at LSU? Either Max Johnson or man, I can't think of the guy's name that was the starter over there, the quarterback. This is going to be a triple threat competition, man. It is going to be a really, really triple threat competition, and I like that. I like that. You guys got to understand, we wouldn't be put in this position if it wasn't for Jimbo Fisher. If it wasn't for Jimbo Fisher, we would have not been put in this position. A&M is as relevant as people don't like to say they are. But they are, man. We're really, really relevant, especially when we got that number 4 ranking at the end of the season, that they're solidified where A&M is as a program now. They're higher than they ever been. This is what we've been expecting, and this is what we've been wanting. We've been wanting this program to get on the cusp and the up and up. So they're up now, man. They are there. They are there. And the question is can you guys live up to the expectation? Can you guys carry that all eyes on you mentality and perform at the highest level? Because that's what it's all about now. Can you guys perform at the highest level? Because this is where you guys want to be. Now you guys are up here. You're up here with the big boys. You're up here at the big boy table. So now it's time to carry the weight and do what you're supposed to do. So, excuse me. Like I say, man, I'm so amped up for this season, man. I'm ready to see it put together. I am ready. I'm ready. I believe the SEC will be a whole lot better this year. Not to say they weren't last year, but I believe the SEC will be a whole lot better this year, man. It will be an elite amount of competition playing A&M by far the hardest that they've ever played them. And A&M has to respond. You got to respond, man. We got to respond. If they're going to take a punch to us, we have to take a punch right back. Like I say, man, watch that Arkansas game. Not to discount Kent State, New Mexico, and Colorado. I'm not saying count those games out, but look for that Arkansas game. And what I said to you guys, if that score is up 3 or 4 touchdowns by halftime to like 35-0 or 28-0 going into halftime, that solidified everything I told you that it was. This team has finally gotten there. They have built themselves and they've asserted themselves. If that score holds up, in my prediction of how the way it should be, it's going to be a damn good season. Wow. So that October 9th game, that's going to be a game to watch. Understand, it's a lot of games going on October 9th, which is crazy as heck to me. But they made it that way for a reason. So be ready for it. I'm anticipated for it. Let's make it happen. So these are the quarterbacks I want to name on the roster right now. Quarterback, Rich Brits. He's a sophomore. He's from Conroe, Texas. Zach Calzada, of course, who everybody knows. Logan Fisher. A lot of you guys may not know him, but yes, he's our quarterback as well. Haynes King, of course, all of you guys know him. And check this out. Him and Zach Calzada are like a 5-pound difference from each other. Crazy, right? Colton Taylor, he's a quarterback as well. He's a senior. These are all the quarterbacks that are on the roster. Of course, they don't have Eli Styles on here. They're just giving me the roster from like 2020 season and stuff like that. But Devin A. Chain is one of our running backs. Connor Blumrick, I think he had already transferred. Connor Cook, he's a running back as well. Ernest Crownover, you guys have to really, really watch for him, man. Keep that name in mind. Keep that name right up there for you. That's the running back, man. Keep that name in mind. We will use him as well. Darvin Hubbard, he's the freshman from Akron, Ohio up there. DeAndre Jackson is another one. You guys have to keep these names in mind. These are running backs. This is the running back stable. That's why this running back stable is as deep as it has ever been, period. Blue Revis from Bryan, Texas. McCray Rutledge. He was a running back as well. Andre Saunders, I believe he's gone already. Anaya Smith is one of them. We all know him. Isaiah Spiller is another one. You know, we all know him. And like I say, LJ Johnson. You guys have to really, really watch. Keep that name in your head, LJ Johnson. When I tell you that this may not be just a 3-back combo, this joker might be a 6-back combo, in which it's going to be a lot of teams that's going to have a lot of trouble with it. So just keep that in mind. If they don't have a defensive line that's ready, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So the fullback is Cajun Baldry. You guys have to keep in mind, we do use a fullback, people. Yes, we run a pro-style offense. So the wide receivers, I've already told you guys these guys to watch out for. Caleb Chapman is one of them. Damon Demons is another. Keon Jackson. A lot of you guys have forgot about him. Keep that name in your head. Hezekiah Jones, of course. Yes. Chase Lane. We all know him. Moose Muhammad. That's the name that you guys got to keep in mind, man. Moose I believe Moose will get a little bit of the shine this year. We are deep in the wide receiver stable and we're deep in the running back stable. You have to keep these guys' name in your head. Moose Muhammad, we have not seen everything from him yet. We have not seen it. These guys are waiting in line. These are guys literally waiting in line. Jalen Preston, I believe he will have a breakout year this year. Devin Price, this is another one, man. He was real good in that spring game. Seriously, he was real good. Ethan West, he's another one that's waiting in line. And that's about it for that wide receiver room. Of course, we have a whole lot of other wide receivers that are coming in as well that were freshmen. So this is the tight end, Baylor Cup. I can't say his name up. So let me describe Baylor Cup. He's 6'6", 240 pounds. Haven't played a down yet. But we're going to see this year. We're going to see. Max Wright is another one, 6'4". Haven't really played it down yet. 6'4". From Katy, Texas out there. He's a sophomore. Jaylen Watermeier. Of course, Jaylen Watermeier is 6'5", 265 pounds, for all the people that didn't know. This is why when guys cover him, they look like little kids going up against him. All right, so this is why. Blake Smith, 6'4", 266 pounds. When I tell you these are some big old guys, these are some big old boys. So, man, you have to keep these tight ends in mind. And I already named all the offensive linemen for you guys. So, I'm just giving you a glimpse and just getting you guys ready, man, because we're almost here. We're almost here for this 2021 season. And like I say, once again, man, this season is going to be very, very special. I'm so ready for this. I am ready. I'm ready. So before I get out of here, let me name a couple of recruits to you guys, man. So these are the names to look for. Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy. That's a 5-star defensive lineman. Number 8, you guys heard me talk about him already. This guy is, he's warming up to us. He may commit to OU or Ohio State. Wouldn't shock me, but OU is the favorite there. Shamar Stewart. We are pretty warm with him. For the most part, after right now, it's a lean towards Miami. Denver Harris, I can't say that enough, man. Be watching for this guy. But it's out of these 4 teams: Texas, Alabama, LSU, and Texas A&M. That's all I'm saying. Harold Perkins, I don't even mention him again. But it's out of these 3 teams: A&M, Texas, LSU. Kamari Wilson, I'm really liking where we're headed with him, but he has Georgia on his list. Wouldn't shock me if he went to Georgia, but A&M is right behind him, man. Evan Stewart, yes, I know they got him zoned to Texas, but it's out of Texas, Florida, Alabama, LSU, and Texas A&M. If you got Texas Twitter, he still has on the Texas jersey. I honestly believe he will commit to A&M. Y'all know I've been wrong for a couple of these guys now, but hey, it is what it is. That's part of recruiting. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. I honestly believe he's going to commit to the Aggies, man. I honestly see an Aggie lean on this. So this is another guy right here. This is the real good one. Edge rusher Omari Ober from Duncanville, Texas. Right now he's positioned to go to OU. It's out of OU, Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, and USC at the moment. This guy is going to come down here, I believe, on the 30th or the 31st. He will come out here, take an official visit. Hopefully we can change his mind. He's a 5-star as well. But he's an edge rusher. Man, you can't have too many edge rushers, right? So hopefully we can get him on in there. But just be on the lookout for him. Bear Alexander, of course, he has been rumored to A&M highly, man. So hopefully we can make that happen. I don't know when these guys' announcement dates will be, but just be looking for this young man right here, and I will stop it on this one. Where is he at? You guys should already know what I'm talking about. Bryce Anderson. is out of these two teams, and he was dead serious about that. He's gonna go down there to Austin, I think, for their pool party that they're having on the 31st, something like that. But he's also gonna come to A&M and take another official visit throughout the season and just kind of see how things shape up. I believe that we'll get him. I believe he would either commit at the Under Armour All-American game. I believe he's invited to that one, or he'll commit throughout the season, man. So just keep your eyes on that young man, man. That when that young man makes his announcement out of these two teams, in which it hadn't been like this for a very long time now, with a recruit per se, it's going to explode. It's going to shock a lot of people. A lot of people are going to write their reports and everything about this. So just be on the lookout for that, all right? But that's all I have for you guys on today. Please be looking for me on Wednesday. I love all of you guys. Once again, man, it's going to be a very special season. So just be tuned in, man. I cannot wait for 2021, all right? So once again, guys, it's a Homemade Podcast Sports with your host, Jay Pops. #GigaMags.
And thank you guys for tuning in to the #Homemade Podcast Sports. Please, guys, subscribe to the YouTube page and also follow me on Twitter @JPops, on Instagram @JPops, and also on Facebook at #Homemade Podcast Sports. Thank you guys once again. #GigaMags.